Imagine the sound of a forest at dawn, the rustling of leaves, the distant song of birds, and the gentle movement of the wind brushing through the trees. Now, imagine all of that silenced for a moment. In the void left by the absence of sound, something else emerges, a space to perceive what usually goes unnoticed. That space is silence, not just the absence of noise, but a living presence, a response that speaks without words. In today's world where notifications, rushed conversations, and multitasking dominate our lives, silence seems like a luxury. But could it in fact be a necessity? When was the last time you allowed yourself to hear silence? Perhaps it was the brief moment before you fell asleep, the pause between one meeting and the next, or during a solitary walk. But even in those moments, silence is not easy to find. We are so accustomed to filling every space with words, sounds, and thoughts that we've forgotten how transformative it can be. In Zen Buddhism, silence is far more than the absence of sound. It's a practice, a state of being. It teaches us to listen, not only to others, but to ourselves, to our emotions, our fears, and the deepest truths about who we are. In a hurried world where every minute feels accounted for, silence offers us a pause, a chance to remember that we are not just what we do, but also what we feel and experience. Think of a mirror. When its surface is clean and still, it reflects the truth with clarity. But if the surface is in motion, like the rippling water of a lake, the images become distorted. The same is true for our minds. Modern life is like that restless water filled with stimuli that distort our perception and prevent us from seeing what's essential. Only when we find silence can we see clearly, both the world outside and our inner universe. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable we can feel with silence? Think about a conversation that suddenly becomes awkward when no one speaks for a few seconds, or the almost automatic urge to reach for your phone while waiting in line or in an elevator. These moments, brief but revealing, show us how much we avoid silence, as if it confronts us with something we don't want to hear. But silence isn't empty. It's filled with answers that we seek elsewhere. It's in silence that a tired mind finds rest. A suppressed emotion can be heard, and intuition whispers the directions we need to follow. What would happen if you started seeking silence instead of avoiding it? How would your life change if you saw silence not as an absence, but as an opportunity? A long time ago, on a mountain shrouded in Japan's morning mist, there lived a Zen monk named Ryōkan. He was known for his simplicity and wisdom. His days were filled with mundane tasks, sweeping the floor of his hut, tending the garden, and watching the sky change colors with the seasons. He rarely spoke, but his silent presence carried a depth that touched everyone who met him. One night, while Ryōkan meditated under the moonlight, he heard stealthy footsteps. Rising to investigate, he realized a thief had entered his hut. With nothing of value to offer, Ryōkan simply smiled and said gently, "You've come from so far to visit me. I don't want you to leave empty-handed." He removed his tattered robe and handed it to the thief, saying, "Take this, it's all I have." The thief, shocked and confused, took the robe and fled. Later, Ryōkan, now alone again, gazed at the starry sky and whispered, "Poor man. I wish I could have given him this beautiful moon." This story, often told in Zen monasteries, isn't about theft or generosity, but about Ryokan's response, the silence he maintained in the face of adversity. Instead of reacting with anger or fear, he responded with compassion and detachment. Ryokan's silence, both internal and external, was the true lesson. Now, let's bring this teaching into the present. Imagine Marta, an executive always on the go, juggling deadlines and responsibilities. Her days were consumed by notifications, endless meetings, and a phone that seemed to never stop ringing. She believed silence was a luxury, something she could only afford after completing all her tasks. One day, Marta had a breakdown. In the middle of an important meeting, Her body simply gave out. She fainted, and when she woke up in the hospital, she was told she was in a state of extreme burnout. The doctor advised her to take time to rest. But what did rest mean to someone who had never known how to stop? With no idea where to start, Marta decided to attend a silent retreat, something that felt strange and even uncomfortable to her. In the first few days, she felt restless. Without her phone or constant distractions, she was forced to confront her mind, filled with worries and chaotic thoughts. But something curious happened. As the days passed, Marta began to notice things she had never paid attention to before. The sound of the wind, the warmth of the sun on her skin, and even her own breath, which seemed to take on a life of its own. In the silence, she finally heard herself. When Marta returned to work, the external world hadn't changed. Deadlines still loomed, meetings still filled her schedule. But something fundamental inside her had shifted. She had learned to value small moments of silence amid the chaos, and this practice brought a sense of clarity and calm she once thought unattainable. Just like Ryōkan and Marta, all of us have the opportunity to reconnect with silence. It doesn't need to be something grand or reserved for monasteries and retreats. It can be found in the brief moments between tasks or in the simple act of observing life around us without judgment. Silence teaches us to listen, to respond instead of react, and to find peace even in life's most challenging situations. It's a reminder that sometimes the answers we seek in the external world are already within us, waiting for the moment we pay attention. If this message resonated with you, share this video with someone you care about. It might just touch their life the same way it touched yours. Leave a comment below sharing your favorite reflection or how you plan to bring more silence into your routine. And if you'd like to continue exploring content like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Remember, silence is not the end of the conversation, but the beginning of a deeper listening. It's a gift you can give yourself every single day. Thank you for taking this moment to reflect. See you in the next video.